Alex Acuff here and Bennett Clark. We're your hosts of the Connecting B2C podcast. Today we have a really special guest with us today. I want you to welcome Sue Pinky Benson, and we'll go ahead and go right off the bat and let Pinky quickly introduce yourself and tell our audience a little bit about you.
Hey guys, my name is Sue Pinky Benson. I'm of Naples, Florida. I do an online show called Pinky Knows Naples. I'm kind of known for my videos. In fact, last year BombBomb voted me #2 for live video influencers in North America, so I'm super proud of that. And I love to go around and teach other agents how to use video to grow their businesses. So I'm super excited to be here, guys.
Very cool, very cool. I got a lot of questions about BombBomb now that we talked about it. But real quick, Bennett, go ahead and let us know about your connecting point with Sue, and we'd love to know more about that.
Sure. Sue and I met at Inman in San Francisco just a few weeks ago, and we were part of the podcast luncheon with the ambassadors. So during that lunch, we got to go around the table and meet about the 12 or 13 folks that joined us, and just talked about getting involved more in podcasts. And then I guess it was either the same day or later that day, she was one of the speakers there. So she had quite the week, and I took a lot from the Inman conference in San Francisco. And like we've had with some of our other guests, a lot of our contacts come off various conferences from around the country. And so that was our connecting point.
Very cool, very cool. Well, welcome, Sue. I'm glad that you guys connected. Unfortunately, I had a baby born at that time, so I haven't had shit for sleep. So I'm back on my game. We're working and everything. But Sue, just right off the bat, I want to know a little bit. I want you to tell our audience a little bit about you. How'd you get into real estate, and especially with the video marketing? We'd love to just tell them more about that.
Oh, sure. So I've been a real estate agent for about 10 years, and I've spent 3 of that 10 years just here in Naples. And basically, I started in real estate 10 years ago, but I was up in an area north of Tampa called Fernando County. And prior to that, what I call my BC life is Beach Before Children. I was actually in broadcast journalism. I have a degree from Florida Southern, go Mocs. And I worked at a Fox TV station in downtown Tampa, and I did that for a number of years. And then when I started having children, and the season of storms came through, and my husband's having hurricane parties, and I'm going, oh my gosh, I'm sleeping under a desk writing out hurricanes. I was like, okay, there's got to be something else to this. So I got my real estate license, and I went to a conference probably 7 years ago. And I met the fabulous Katie Lance, and she and Chris Smith actually were talking about social media and video. And it was 7 years ago, and nobody was doing anything with it. It's just a place to, put up pictures of what you had for dinner, things like that. And, so it was kind of interesting to be in this room with people that saw the future. And I was like, oh my gosh, I could do this. So I ran home and started creating video right then and there. And I mean, even though I have a background in broadcast journalism, I had not edited digitally. I'd always edited on tape. So that was like a big changeover. So, I mean, there was a lot of things that I had to learn, but I started doing these videos of my listings. And they were like, if you see them, they're like crazy old school weird. Like they're not like what you see now. And I had to edit them and do it myself. But the glory was nobody else was doing it. And I'm in this small town, and, real estate agents, as they always do, they're like, what's she doing? Those crabby agents. And the next thing I know, I had people calling me saying, hey, can you come do a video at my house? And it just started to snowball. And so when we made the decision to move here 3 years ago, I reached out to my friend. He's a RE/MAX agent in Canada named Michael Thorne, and he became kind of my mentor of teaching me how to embrace my community through videos. And lucky for me, Facebook Live came out, and that just kind of whooshed me right out there with the video.
Nice. And that probably leads into, did you feel that created a niche for you, or do you think your personal marketing as far as the Pinky brand, is that more of the way that you view your marketing strategy?
No. I mean, I think they're both very crucial to who I am and my marketing. You know, but doing video is my niche, like, because so many agents are afraid to do it. So many agents don't want to do it. They don't want to, you know, they think they have this idea that they have to spend all this money to make the perfect commercial video for every listing. And so no, video marketing is my niche. Like that's what I love. That's what when I get a listing, I get super excited because I'm like, oh, I can do a video here and I can do a video there and I can do a video here. And, you know, I get excited for all the opportunities that come with videos. So that's my thing. But Pinky has evolved. I was originally the pink lady of real estate and it just kept getting dumbed down and dumbed down. So now it's just Pinky Knows Naples.
You're going to love that. But so it's really kind of interesting to hear you say that about how you're video first. And in this day and age, it's super attractive. And so do you kind of look at your business, you know, everyone wants to talk about the hub and spokes. Do you think, is video what we classify as the hub rather than just the real estate business of what you're doing?
I would say that definitely. I mean, it's
kind of like a partner with it.
I think like it's, you know, it's like the marketing is so circular. You know, you have to, you can't just leave it open anywhere. You have to close it, you know? And so there's lots of things that you have to do to be a successful agent when it comes to marketing. And I think a lot of agents think that they know that they think they're marketing because maybe they hire somebody to do a newspaper ad, so therefore they're marketing. And yes, people still use newspaper ads. It blows my mind, but they do. You know, and it's like we have to continue to evolve or we're going to dissolve. So we have to like really think about like, okay, what's the next thing that's marketing? Like you guys are doing the podcast. That's obviously the next step. Audio, Alexa. Oh, she's going to go off. But, you know,
yes.
They're listening to you.
Yeah. So those are the things that you have to, you know, so to me, it's not even just camera first. It's, you know, making sure that you're filling the voids of what is missing in your marketing plan to really be successful.
Good. And
what's your favorite? Do you just mainly film with your camera? Or are you using any kind of company?
I use my phone.
Yeah.
In fact, you know what was when I was in the Tampa area and I started with videos. I did it myself. I had the old school video camera because that's back when the Blackberries were out and they didn't take very good video. So I had the video camera, had to have somebody hold it. So I had like my loan officer, my husband, my best friend be out there holding the freaking camera for me. And I started there. Then, you know, it evolved to the phone. But what happened in the meantime is I really was able to be so successful that I could hire somebody to come and do the videos for me. And we really had synergism. He knew exactly what I wanted and we would play together and it wasn't this stiff, like news oriented type video. So we made some really amazing videos that we had so much fun with, you know, and he would play and I would play. And it was well within my budget at that time. So when I moved to Naples, although Naples is like home to a lot of multimillionaires, I am not one of them yet. And I also have a husband, as I mentioned, and he kind of puts the squash on me spending any money. So that said, I had to like figure out how to do it on a shoestring budget. So I have used my phone on my camera consistently over and over again. And I have maximized, you know, my knowledge through using my phone for everything that I do and then downloading it into my Mac and learning how to edit on my Mac. Those were two major skills that, yeah, it took a little time to learn them, but it's like learning the MLS system. You got to just dive in and start using it and then you'll figure it out, you know, and you'll be like, oh, that wasn't so hard. I can do it in 5 minutes now.
Do you feel that having somebody there to help you has really saved you a lot of time?
You mean as far as having Michael as my mentor? Or
well, as far as like having that videographer type person help you with, you know, getting more in-depth video?
Yeah, I mean, definitely like if you can have a videographer to help you with like your listing videos and your bigger product videos, then I definitely think it's well worth it. But like if you're doing Facebook Lives, you don't need a videographer for that. If you're doing Instagram stories, you don't need, you know, that's your personal behind the scenes type thing. But I also think that there's glory in the unpolished because people want reality TV. And the fact that you're doing a live and then all of a sudden you might accidentally fall into a pool or, you know, a bird, you know, God forbid, lands one on your head. It's all great, interacting, you know, interesting things that people are like, oh, look what happened to her. That's great, you know, and the authenticity because you know, and that's the thing is that you have to think, like, we've been watching reality TV for like, what, 20 years now? It's crazy how long it has been. And we still crave more reality. Like, we all know that the Kardashian stuff is produced. We all know that Big Brother is produced. And yet we still gravitate towards reality. We want the reality. So if we as individuals can give it to them, I might think my life is boring, but I'm sure somebody else doesn't because they're watching me every day. So apparently I'm doing something entertaining.
Yeah, you talk about who's giving me a little bit of feedback. I think someone's like, I'm close to. I don't know. Anyways, how do I sound? Is that echoing, you guys?
Yeah, a little echo on my end.
Okay.
There you go.
There it is. Good. All right. So the keywords I heard you say were authenticity and unpolished, and you know, really just we want to make sure that you are here. We've got you on our platform, and I want you to give a lot of value to our clients. You know, let's talk about being unpolished and being authentic. You know, what are those things that you typically see agents? Number one, they probably fail to take action. But let's talk about, you know, getting started. What are those few things that you tell agents to get them motivated to get moving on video?
Well, I think you first have to overcome yourself. Like, I mean, and that's a really internal thing, but you have to say to yourself, like, I know I'm 10 pounds overweight. I know my voice sounds funny. I know I have an accent, whatever it is that is like holding you up, you know, you just have to say that. Yeah, exactly. This is me. This is who I am, you know, and it's hard for people to do, to admit, and just, you know, because they're going to see you every day anyway. So you don't think your funny voice and your extra 20 pounds isn't going to be seen? Like, it's already there, guys. You just have to own it. But I think that, like, so many people think that they have to go on and do this amazing video, bang, right out of the park, that they're, you know, that they're just gonna have to like really put all this effort in, and they got to talk for 20 minutes, and they got to no, short and sweet. I call it the KISS effect. Keep it short and simple, right? Don't overdo it. Get on there, say what you got to say, and get out. Like the glory in the replay.
The attention span goes off on people pretty quickly.
Yeah. I mean, you get 3 seconds to like grab their attention. So bring them in, say, hey, how are you? This is what I'm doing. Get out whatever it is you have to say, and then get out of there. I see people staying in, and you know, it's like, why are you staying here? Like, call it. Give yourself the hook. You're out. You know, and you'll see that like your video engagement will go up because you're watching on the replay, and people are seeing that like you're not sitting there and you're waiting for. I hate the ones where they're sitting there and they're like typing on their computer, waiting for people to show up. And I'm like, I see.
That's painful to watch. No, that's like the pages of people that do prospecting on Facebook, like live prospecting. They're like, all right, guys, it's 8 o'clock at 8:10. We're gonna get calling. Let's see who all we can get online right now to watch me call people. So
yeah,
it's kind of funny.
I really encourage them to take out their phone and just start shooting video. It doesn't have to have them in it. But so many people don't understand the function of how to make a video on their phone, not a live video, not just a plain ordinary video. And so I'll tell them, set up yourself a private Instagram account where nobody else sees it, or just invite a couple of people, because you can switch between those Instagram accounts super easy. And for 30 days, you get 60 seconds, do a video of anything just to get yourself comfortable with how it works. And you'll be like, at the end of 30 days, you'll be like, oh, well, now I can do this. Now I can do that. You'll figure it out, you know, and that way you're not like looking, you know, people are worried about looking like an idiot in front of their friends. So this way, oh, you're not looking like an idiot in front of anybody, but you're still using the platform and getting used to it.
I think that's awesome. So we've got overcoming yourself, basically, the KISS effect, and private Insta. I think that's the one I have not heard. I haven't even thought about that. So that's a great idea, though. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Gives yourself a lot of practice, like she said. I've heard a lot of people lately say you sound like you sound, you look the way you look, and
you sound like Kentucky.
Thank you. Written all over me. But Pinky, you touched about this a little bit earlier, as far as like planning on what's next. What do you think video is trending towards? Are there different platforms that are upcoming that you know about, or a specific strategy that you might try to put in play?
Well, obviously I'm in love with Instagram stories. totally think that like that is a gold mine for people to grow their audience outside of the audience that they already have with little to no cost at all. Well, actually, it's no cost at all at this point. You know, just by putting in a locator and a hashtag, suddenly your video can be seen by so many more people. So I really think there's a lot of glory in Instagram stories. IGTV was quite the buzzword while we were at Inman. A lot of people talking about IGTV. It'll be interesting to see how that works. And, you know, I'm curious to watch the vertical video stuff. From a broadcasting standpoint, it doesn't make sense to me, especially if you're interviewing someone. You can't get two people in a vertical shot. And as far as filming too, like trying to get, I've seen some nice ones well done, but it's definitely going to be a little bit more of a challenge. So I'm interested to see how the vertical video versus horizontal is going to play out, which is obviously IGTV is total vertical. So it does make it a little more challenging to come up with your content for that. You know, live is evolving still, I think. A lot of people, I've been watching it lately, a lot of people have been, that are starting, I think they're struggling a little bit to get viewership because it's almost getting oversaturated. And if you haven't already kind of been out there and you're well established, you might find some trouble. Just, you know, but that could also be the algorithm and all the switches that they're making to it. I'm pretty sure what I see happening is also because 85% of people watch video on Facebook without sound. So I would start to, I'm wondering if they're not going to start to like subtitle live. Like I could see the closed captioning coming from there. That would make logical sense to me, that they would do that.
Automatically without sending it out for somebody to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I can see some issues with it, but I think that the closed captioning thing is going to be huge since we already know the stats on people not listening but watching the video without the sound on. So
what was that percentage? What was that again?
85% of people do not have the audio on. I know.
I thought it was just me. I'm like scrolling through. I'm like, you know, I can take a good guess at what they're saying.
Well, and a lot of times you're in a location where you're just scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, and you don't want it.
Yeah.
So
it is. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. So Pinky, gotta ask, tell our audience real quick, why pink?
Well, you know, when I first started in real estate, I quickly realized that every woman named Susan goes out and gets their real estate license. So in my own office alone, there were 5 agents that were Sues. And, you know, buyers hardly ever remember their names. I love them, but, you know, they're overwhelmed, they're confused, and I have a hard time remembering people's names on top of that myself. So I was like, how can, you know, I stand apart? So I was with I had a partner, Shauna at the time, and Shauna and I came up with team colors. So I was pink and she was green, kind of like the Lily Pulitzer colors. And I embraced kind of a legally blonde, you know, vibe, because I really thought that was cool that she had the pink vibe going. And then as the recession hit hard, we had to like separate because we weren't making any money. So I kind of stuck with the pink and it just kind of evolved. It was like Pink Lady of Real Estate, and then it just kept dumbing down. So,
hey, well, you got the good side. You know, at least it's not green. They're like, oh my God, is she sick? You know,
that should have been the Incredible Hulk.
The Incredible Hulk. There you go. So let's talk a little bit. You know, your background, you said, is in broadcast journalism, correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit. I know you've got probably some pretty decent experience. Then let's talk a little bit about, you know, those failures, and you know, what are some of the biggest failures that you've experienced kind of throughout the years, and as far as like giving our audience a little bit of reality as to, you know, them dipping into video marketing.
Well, you know, I think, you know, first thing is, like, obviously when I tell people that I have a degree in broadcast journalism, there's like this click off of like, oh, well, that's why she's so good in the video. And I totally understand that. However, I wasn't. Yeah. Oh, I flicked my hair. Was that? So, you know, that totally, you know, that wasn't the case. I mean, for me to start as, you know, a part-time reporter in the Tampa market is not usually how it goes. And so there was a lot of criticism of, you know, my starting videos. And one of the things that they did that I still learn from is that, you know, they wanted me to say my name Susan instead of going by Sue. And while that may not seem like a big thing, the only person that calls me Susan is my mother, and it's when I'm in trouble. So it wasn't comfortable for me. Like I literally, like it was like Susan, like I couldn't even get the words out. And that taught me a valuable lesson in always be who you are on the camera. Because if you try to be me or I try to be you, it's not going to work out. If you're faking it, it's not going to work. You know, so you have to be who you are naturally in front of the camera, and your personality will evolve. But you do have to have a little bit of a thick skin when it comes to criticism. I mean, you know, even when I was in the TV news, I could have been doing like some mind blowing story, and my mom would call me and be like, "Susan, those earrings, really?" Like, you know, and it was, you know, and it was like, "Mom, I was telling you this amazing story." Like, it was just like worried about my earrings. So, you know, you have to have a little thick skin. And now with Facebook and social media, we know about the cyber bullies that are out there. And like I said, when I first started doing videos in a small town, and there was a lot of older agents in mindset, not necessarily in age, but in mindset, you know, anytime you do something new, they're very critical. Like, oh, what is she think she's doing? I got criticized for being the pink lady of real estate. Why are you naming yourself that? You know, and so you just kind of have to like put your head down and say, you know what, I got this. I know what I'm doing. And, you know, I'm a big follower of Gary Vee, and it's like, just tune out the rest of it, because usually the people criticizing you the most are the ones standing next to you that are like your friends and family. And you just have to, like, I'm out, like, you know, and just zone out and go, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try it for 30 days. I'm going to see what the response is, and then I'll make a decision from there.
It's kind of the mentality of the people that are going to gravitate to me are going to do so naturally. And
Right.
if you don't, then we probably wouldn't have been working together anyway.
Exactly.
Probably.
Yes.
So,
So tell us a little bit, you know, what's next for you, Sue, you know, what, as far as your business and where you want to take it, and kind of your business.
Well, you know, I think one of the things is that I want to make sure people understand is you're not going to do one video and it's going to put you out there into like, you know, amazing space. Like everybody's going to be like, oh my gosh, that video was amazing. Now, don't get me wrong. Like if you happen to be like in some like, you know, fire flood crazy thing going on, you might get some big response. But in general, your listing video is not going to pull in the entire world. So don't be like so worried about doing a Facebook Live because you think the whole world is watching, because they really aren't. I just want to be clear on that. And it takes a lot of time and consistency to A, get good at video, and B, get recognized for doing your video. I've been in Naples now, you know, like I said, 3 years, and I really didn't start in real estate until January of 2016. And it literally took me 24 months for my business to start to show up. And so I'm consistently working at it still. And it's, you know, and while I was doing that, I was learning social media and how to do better videos and what was engaging. And so for me, you know, what has happened now is like so many people want me to come and help them with the video. And I love it. I love to help agents like not only think about video, but what they're posting on social media, what their digital footprint is out there, and how to make it look the best that it can possibly look. So I have been blessed to be able this summer to travel the country. We called it the Pinky Tour. And I got to go around and do some classes, presentations for different agents. So I'm going to be continuing that into the fall. So I have like Vegas lined up again, and Atlanta. I believe Beaufort. I'm in Beaufort in October. Washington, D.C. is coming as well, and Illinois. So, you know, if you guys ever want me, just let me know. Reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to talk to you about how we can make it happen.
It's awesome.
Very cool.
Follow-up question real quick on one thing you said there. Now, once you produce these videos, are you then watching to see what the initial response and how many viewers you get? And then do you boost those videos, or what are you doing to get additional exposure?
Okay, so actually I do a majority of my videos from my personal page. So I can't rely on a boost to get it further out. I have to rely on having good, shareable, digestible content that people want to share for me organically. And to do that, it's not going to be a listing video. So it's really important to show a variety of things. And we're all in different communities. So there's all kinds of opportunities to own that community and share your life experiences with your audience. So, you know, you want to make sure that you're doing more than just your listing videos. I see people default to that. So please please don't default to that. But you know, I think that like just getting yourself out there and finding good ways to engage with the people is number one. Number two, you always want to make sure that you go back and you thank people for watching, thank them for sharing, you know, private message them, hey, thanks for popping on my live today. It really meant something to me. You know, I'm really nervous at doing this. Whatever it is that's going on in your head, you're thankful that they tuned in, that they gave you 5 to 15 minutes of their time or whatever it is. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. You want to make sure, I see a lot of people go live for live's sake. You want to go live and have something to tell your audience, okay? Don't just go live for live's sake. You want to make sure that your post is engaging and entertaining. So when people are thumbing through, scrolling through at the grocery store, right, they see something and they're like, oh, well, what is she up to? Like last week, my latest listing came on the market. I could have just simply done a listing video, but I did my tease, which was, hey, tune in. You know, I'm talking amazing photography and an amazing ice maker. So it's like, what do those two things have in common, you know? And it's like, well, it had to do with my listing. I was talking about the power of professional photography in our business and how only 35% of agents actually use professional photographers. And then, you know, I'm talking about the amazing ice maker because my owner was so in love with his ice maker that he actually wrote me a script to explain this amazing ice maker. You laugh.
I think I saw something about that.
See?
I swear, I want to feel like, because I knew you were coming on, and we were, and I think I friend requested you or something. I think I saw you post something about that, and you got me thinking. You know, when you go back and you thank people, you get your best reactions when people feel that you're being authentic and you're thanking them for coming on. And I know at the very beginning of the show, you mentioned BombBomb, and I am also a BombBomb client, and I love BombBomb. And so every video I'm doing, I'm like,
oh yeah, right.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I have a dry erase board I use like every video. I write something on it and I send all these fun personal videos and people love them. They click on them. They want to see their name. They want to.
You know, right now, video influencers awards or nominations are out. So if anybody can go and vote. So make sure you go and nominate somebody of your favorite video, and you can nominate for more than one category. They have all kinds, like listing videos, social media, all kinds of different ones. But here's
you can drop a link to that below it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And here's the thing, when it comes to, and this is, I believe, a BombBomb stat actually. When it comes to video, just putting the subject in the subject line, if you put video in there, you have a 19% increase in the open rate. 19% increase in the open rate just by putting video in the subject line. That doesn't mean that there's a BombBomb video in there, although there should be, but you could put a link to your YouTube, right? You could totally put your link to your YouTube on your listing. You could do a link to your Facebook page that has the video on it. There's so many opportunities there for you to get the engagement just by putting the word video in the subject line. You just have to think about it a little bit more, you know, intensely. You can't just be like slapping it up there like that old school flyer that everybody wants to do and run away and hope for the best.
I know. It's a lot of fun. It's a differentiator, and it's fun to I like communicating with my clients through video. They really like that. You know, we'll do some follow-ups during the weeks. So, well, cool.
Although I have to tell you, I've had BombBomb for years, and when it first came out, I would be sending the videos and it would say, there's a video coming from Pinky. And I didn't have the best open rate in the beginning. And I think it was because some people were worried it was, you know, a different type of video because it said video.
Oh, what kind of videos are you sending?
Exactly. What is this? So
anyway, well, cool, Pinky. Well, we really appreciate you coming on. I know if anyone wants to check out your conversation with Inman at ICSF out in San Francisco this year, I know that you can just Google Sue Pinky Benson Inman Connect San Francisco, and I think it's the first link that pops up, and they can watch your video, which was a great. That's how I got introduced to you, and I thought it was amazing. I thought you did a great job on stage. Number one, and number two, go ahead and tell everyone, I know you've got hashtags, and I know you've got a wonderful YouTube page, and I'd love for you to tell the audience how they can reach out to you and connect with you.
Oh, sure, sure. So hashtag Pinky Nose Naples, and Jennifer Tucker, love you too. I see her comment up there. So hashtag Pinky
In
Nose.
my office, by the way.
Oh, she's in your office. Okay. And then you can follow me on Instagram, Pinky Nose Naples, Facebook too, Sue Pinky Benson. Just give me a message. Let me know, that you saw me on the show, so I know exactly where you're coming from. And then I just started a group after doing all the Pinky Tour this summer. I had so many people reach out to me and like, hey, can you give us some tips and things of that nature? So I started a group called Video and Social Media for Small Businesses. So it's not just for real estate agents. We have in there comedians, we have musicians, we have, title people, mortgage people. We have a variety of different people wanting to learn. And what I'm trying to do is bring in some of my friends with a journalistic background to help you guys understand, not just, some of the regular people that can talk social media, because obviously they're in there as well. But like we had on my girlfriend this week, who is a voiceover. She's a national recognized voiceover artist, actress. So we talked about getting over your fear of your voice, because so many people have that fear. So she talked about little tips and tricks that you can do. So I'd love for you guys to join the group. Just DM me and I'll send you an ad or what have you. But I really hope that you guys will come into my group.
Definitely. Hey, one more thing before we get out of here. We'd really like to give some type of recommendation. For some people, it's perhaps a book recommendation. But for you, it may be something different. It doesn't have to necessarily be a book. But if you were to give some sort of recommendation for other agents and people in the industry, what would that be?
Okay, well, because I'm sitting in front of my bookcase, and it is my major recommendation, I'm going to give you 2 recommendations, okay?
Perfect.
So, all right, let's see, where is it? Okay, so number 1 is the fabulous Katie Lance, Get Social Smart. Okay, Get Social Smart. She's amazing. She does a great job with her book. She breaks it down for you. You can see like all my notes and stuff. She breaks it down for you from LinkedIn to Twitter, like things that you can do to get better engagement with your social media. And another one that's for me, and I know Bennett heard, well, I guess if you saw my video on Inman, you know my story a little bit in the background, is that 3.5 years ago, the reason we moved was because we lost our son Sawyer, and we wanted a new adventure to start over. And so in that time frame, somehow Gary Vee, that's how I got introduced to him. And his book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, which no longer even has like a cover on it because I'm so in love with this book, but it landed in my arms and it totally inspired me to keep going. Obviously, he has a bunch of other books, but Jab, 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 Right Hook has been my favorite. It's my go-to for like just giving great examples of ways that you can be engaging with social media without doing that right hook, like, hey, buy a house, He's amazing. So that's the reason why he's in my profile picture on Facebook.
It's awesome. And I'm glad that you mentioned Katie, because I'm pretty sure she was the one that said up on stage is kind of like, what's your main takeaway, or why do we come to these conferences? And I think she summed it up best for me when I was going around talking to people. I was trying to explain why I was there and what I was trying to accomplish that week, but I couldn't get it out until I heard her say, we come to Inman for a self-audit. And that stuck with me as far as, why we go to these things and why we go frequently, because it's as fast as things are moving. You do have to audit yourself and check your business. And it really, that stuck with me. So I'm glad you gave her a little shout out too.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll take us out. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today and getting to know Sue Pinky Benson. We hope that if you guys have any Naples or that surrounding area referrals, we hope you're sending those straight to her. We'd love to keep sending her business, and we wish her the best in her video marketing business and helping out others in the industry. I think what you're doing is just a fabulous avenue, and we can't appreciate you enough for what you do. And if you guys want to check us out, we'll have this uploaded on iTunes and also YouTube. And we look forward to our next interview. Thank you so much for coming on today, Pinky. Thanks, Bennett.
You got it, buddy.
See you guys.
See ya.